You might not know this, but not all processed food is created the same. It's actually kind of a misnomer. So processed food just means food that's been handled. But the thing is that if you take frozen broccoli that's been washed and cut and put into a bag and frozen, and you think that's the same thing as having like Cheetos, you're missing the idea, guys. You're just missing the entire point. Processed foods and ultra processed foods are very different. And some studies will make a delineation, but oftentimes influencers out there won't even make a distinction between something like processed whole fat yogurt versus the high sugar, low fat version filled with a bunch of guar gum and carrageenan and other binders and emulsifiers in there that could actually hurt your gut. I'm not saying you can't get away with having that stuff once in a while, and maybe it doesn't affect you, but maybe it does. Maybe you're like me and you thought that bloating after every meal was normal. Maybe you think a little bit of constipation and diarrhea is absolutely normal, and you don't realize that it's because you're eating the crappier version of that processed foods. Let me give you a good example. I don't get paid by them, but I'm a huge Haagen-Dazs fan, or anybody that's like them. And what I mean by that is they tend to have the most amount of fat and the least amount of sugar of any of the commercially available ice creams. But the reason I go for that as opposed to like Breyers or something like that, to call them out specifically, is because personally, when I ate that stuff, my blood sugar would jump up higher because it was lower in fat. And so it wasn't the total calories that made a difference. It was how my health was affected based on the quality of that food. Certain types of ice cream will have different types of binders and gums in them to make them have a better mouthfeel or have a better texture. Personally, I actually don't even like that texture. And for me and a lot of other people out there, it causes gastrointestinal upset. They might think, oh, I can't have ice cream, but no, they can't just have the cheap ones filled with a bunch of additives and crap in it. If they have like real ice cream or homemade ice cream, they can have it no problem. I don't want you guys to get confused here. All processed food is not the same. Ultra processed food is different than processed foods. And then even when you talk about ultra processed foods, like something like as stereotypical as ice cream, even that has a hierarchy. Depending on your personal health and your personal needs, certain things in those could be affecting your health to the point where you can't consume them at any safe level. The only way to know is to try it. Add it back into your diet after taking it out after a period of time and see if those symptoms change. Don't listen to the gurus out there. You have to find out for yourself.